Hello, it's John, small town, small time bookseller. Been a couple weeks, but I have sold a few things since last we spoke. And I'm here to tell you all about them because that's what I do. I don't do the garage sale videos. I don't do the yard sale videos. I don't do the GoPros at the Goodwill bins, looking at my hands, large and lean, as delicate in their action as those of a temple dancer. Nope, not I. Oh, what's that? Oh, this? This ain't nothing. So I'm gonna tell you about it. We've got some good sales today, and nothing just spectacular, but I'm got my cheat sheet here. We're gonna get into it. I'm gonna once again go from least expensive to the most expensive sale that I had. I always try to search for the right word. Expensive seems like something I'm buying, but when I'm selling it, is it of the least value to the greatest value? Maybe that'd be a better way to say it. I don't know. I'm just doing what I'm told to do. What's that? Oh, I wasn't supposed to do that? Oh, I did accidentally lower the table. Let's put the little lock on this. Okay. Anyhow. So we're going to start off with the books. I did have, how many? 38. So we're going to get to it because a lot of them are kind of small amount sales. And I don't want to bore you too much with that. But really, it's not that boring because small sales, that's where most of our lives live, is in those $10 to $12 for me. The $10 to $15, that's the common. That's what kind of is most of my life. And then occasionally then you get up to the 20s and you're like, yay, the 20s, and over the 30s, 40s, 50s. I'm just like, rolling on the floor, just ecstatic after that. Anything above there, well, then it's just complete lunacy. So we're going to start in with it. So the book of least value, that which I sold of this week of which we are now speaking, was this one. It's a copy of The Hobbit. Sold it for $7. I very rarely sell anything less than $10. I almost never list anything. I don't think I ever list any books under $10. So this one was an offer. This has been sitting for quite a while. It's not in good shape. It was an excellent school book, like a class set. So quite a bit of writing in it, quite a bit of damage, and but one thing to know, The Hobbit sells vintage copies, paperbacks like this. Even if they're pretty trashed, they will sell. Not for a ton, but for those of you who don't follow along, I'll go ahead and mention it now. I get the vast majority of my books at the Goodwill bins. And those in my area, in the Houston area, go for, the books are $3 for $1. So that's where the majority of my books I get are. So most of the things I sell are 33 cents. There's also an Amazon return store called the Bin Drop that I also shop at. And that one, depending on the day, depends on how much those books are. But the most I would ever have to spend there would be $3. Then there's a couple Goodwills here and there. And actually this last week, I hit my first estate sale. There's no video evidence to prove it. But I did. And so I did pick up some books at the estate sale, which I haven't listed yet. They're sitting over there. But maybe on the next video, we'll have some of those that were sold. So that's, yeah. So anyways, moving on. So the second one that I sold would be this one. It's called Magnolia Parks, $9.50. And then not much to say about that one, I guess. Number 4 is The Breakthrough Code, and that's a $10 book. Number 5, Rise and Decline of the State, another $10 book. You can see where this is going. A lot of $10 sales, 10, 12, 15. Number 6, Complete Book of Enoch, $12. No, I'm sorry, $10 for that one. This Complete Book of Enoch, I've sold probably 3 or 4 different versions of this. So it's religion, and as we all know, religion sells, especially commentary on religion and a vintage commentary. Bibles do sell pretty well, especially things like study Bibles, and things like that. So do pick up the religion. Always check it out if you see ones related to religion, as this one was. The next one was another of my, the ones that I picked up, the Big Haul of Military Aircraft book that I got several weeks ago. Still going through that, getting the 1 or 2 sales just about every time. And so this was the evolution of the P-61 Black Widow for $10. All right, now, moving on up. This next one, White Evangelical Racism, $10.84. And now that we get out of the tens finally. So Transition Planning Inventories, $12, is an education book. So any kind of education, especially that's surrounding like testing, evaluation, assessment, things like that. This was a transition planning inventory. So, and also things on counseling in that area, not the era. Sells as well, so something to look for there. Here's one that is actually, I believe it was a fiction book. I hardly sell any fiction, but this one called Sideways, Shaking, Swaying, and Serpent Mysteries, sold for $12. Oh, this is kind of funny. So this one, The Legal Environment, I got an offer. I had 2 books. So I had The Legal Environment and then something called The Legal Environment of Business. One was a spiral bound, one was not. 2 offers from the same guy on those 2 books. So I told him, I said, hey, I'll take if you do 15 on this book, I'll take your offer of 12 on the other one or something like that. I can't remember what I said exactly. No response back. Like when I sent the offer, I put in a message, right? I said, hey, if you'll take 15 on this one, I'll take your other offer. And no response, but he came back at $12 on this book. So I accepted it, and then on the other book, he came back at an offer of 13, and I accepted that. So it kind of worked out the same. This is what, because I think he was going to do like 10, and I said, I'll take your 10, that's what it was, if you'll take 15 on the other one. So it would have been 25 total. Instead, he came back at 12 on this one and 13 and the other one, and just still $25 total for the 2 books. And so, but they went to different people. Same buyer, had different addresses, so I couldn't combine the shipping on them, which I was hoping to do as well. So again, the Legal Environment, the spiral bound, was $12. The Legal Environment of Business was a $13 sale. And then we had this one, Complete C.S. Lewis. This is a repeat buyer bought this one. So this guy bought a Bible recently and then bought the C.S. Lewis Signature Classics for $12.50. All right. Next one, Dissolving Illusions, Disease, Vaccine, and the Forgotten History, sold for $14. I'm trying to get out of these low teens. As soon as I get up a little higher, I'll be a little more excited. This next book was kind of a cool one, the Biogeometry Signatures, $15 on that one. It was kind of like the chemical symbols in your body and how they relate to your psyche and different things. It was a very strange book. So strange books, look them up. If anything looks a little weird, if you're kind of like, who's into this kind of a thing? Well, somebody is. Just about anything you find and you're like, yeah, somebody's into that. And they're going to buy it from you if you put it up for sale. This next one, My Best Games of Chess, 1924 to 1937, sold for $15.05. Classic chess move there to add that extra nickel. This was one time I was at the Goodwill bins, and there were a bunch of chess books. And obviously somebody's collection had been donated, and several of them were vintage chess books, and even older than that. So I picked them all up, and they've been selling pretty regularly, but this was one of the better ones, sold for $15. Where are we going next after that? The Adventures of, I don't know how to say this guy's name, Al Janiak. Could be Jonique, could be Janique, depends on, I don't know if that's what the etymology of that name is, so I'm not sure, but I'm going to go with Janiak. Adventures of Al Janiak Ford Drag Racer, $15.76. Race car driving, vintage race car stuff does typically sell quite a bit. In my opinion, what I've found, more modern stuff, like if you just see something that's like a history of a certain race or books on drivers and all, not so much. This is a more of a vintage book, so that's, I think, why it's sold. The next one, this is a nice copy. This is The Assassins. It's a Folio Society version in a nice little slipcase. I thought when I saw this one, it would be worth a lot more just because you see Folio Society and you'd think it's going to be worth quite a bit. It sold for $17, but that's another tip. One with the publishers you want to look for is called Folio Society. Some of theirs can be quite valuable. This next one is How to Run a Lathe. I should have read it before I sold it because I don't know how to run a lathe. But this was like a reprint of a 1940s book. And it did sell for $17.50. So we're getting on up there. We're starting to get, in the upper teens. I like sitting around the upper teens. The next one, Inventions, Research, Writings of Nikola Tesla. This is a Barnes & Noble book. Look up those Barnes & Noble leather-bound books. You might think Barnes & Noble, mass production, must be millions of these. But they are actually very nicely bound, and they're nice copies, and they're pretty popular. They look nice, and they do sell pretty well. Some can sell for quite a lot, and but this was sold for $18. Where are we going now? The Karaoke Songbook. So this one sold for $18. I picked up 2 of these quite a long time ago at the bin drop. I probably paid 20 cents or so for them. And I thought they would sell sooner, but I finally did sell one. I've still got the other one sitting on the shelf. Next is another religious book, the New ESV Reference Bible. So anything, like I was saying before, study Bibles, reference Bibles, concordances, things like that, often sell. This one sold for $19.50. If you look at the title and you think, oh, that's a pretty cool title, I wish I'd written a book with that title, you might want to look it up because, again, the more unusual things are often ones that sell. And this is The Life and Struggles of Our Mother, Walata Petros. And so that's over $20, but I just love that title. Next, we had another one of the Military Aircraft Hall. This is the P-39 Airacobra. That sold for $20. And then we went on to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So this is a nice copy of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Had a little damage on the front bottom of the dust jacket, but otherwise was pretty good. And that's also sold for $20. Following up is this is the Asatru Edda, the Sacred Lore of the North. I'm figuring they're talking like maybe Dallas, Arlington, something like that. But it's over $20. It was a big book. I was glad to see it move, but again, it sounded odd. Sounded like it could be some odd religion of some sort. I'd never heard of it. The Asatru Edda. No idea what it is. I think it's Norse mythology or something along those lines. But it seemed different. It had a cool cover. Look it up. Next, I sold another Folio Society. This is the Hittites. The Hittites sold for $25. And I missed one in between there. So next, going back down to $22, the Tarot. Tarot, a key to wisdom of the ages. This was a vintage tarot book. This is, I can't remember the publication date on it, but it's a little bit older. And somebody had tabbed every one of the chapters, which actually kind of added to it, I thought. And there's a lot of underlining in it, but the underlining was very nicely done. It was like professional underliners went through this book. And so I disclosed all that in the listing and said, hey, the tabs actually are kind of nice. But it's over $22. So tarot stuff, occult, tarot, psychic readings, things like that, they can always, very often will sell. So then, where are we going after that? 26, 28. Okay. Oh, this is the NFPA 99 Healthcare Facilities Code. I picked up about 8 of these at the bin drop, actually. I think I paid about $1 a piece for them. And I sold 2 of them already. And so they sold for $25 each. So that was a nice a nice pickup there. So I've still got about 6 of those left, I believe. C Python. I sold something with Python, I think, in the last video as well. So that apparently sells. So this is a computer language that is still being used. And so Python, this is C Python internals, and it sold for $26. So for me, I don't know a whole lot about computer languages and programming and all that. So if I see something, you know, I won't really know if this is something that is still being used or if it's outdated. So I have to look them all up. But Python is one you can definitely have some value if you find that one. Here's another one that I found multiple copies of. I think I got about 6 or 8 of these. The ECG Workout. And I have sold 2 of those for $30 each. And that was a pretty good pickup as well. Again, it was at the bin drop. Usually if I get multiple copies of something, it's going to be at the bin drop, the Amazon returns store, not the Goodwill bins. All right, so we are moving on. Maternal newborn nursing, $30. I'm always a sucker for a good story when somebody gives you an offer for something. And this guy he said that he was starting this class. He really needed the book and was hoping I could, take his offer. I forget how much I had it listed for, but yeah, I'll say, sure. Good luck with the class, man. Next one. This is the New Chronicles Bible, large print. That's another category to look for. If it's, we talked about the reference Bibles and study Bibles and things like that. Large print Bibles also sell very well. This one sold for $45. That's pretty good. This one, Epidural Analgesia, 1978 copy. We're getting up into the final 3 sales are my big sales. This is one of them, $55. Got positive feedback on this. The guy just said that how he was surprised how good condition it was in. So that's always nice. So I think make sure you describe things accurately, and then so people are happy when they get stuff. You can even describe it, be a little harsh when you're describing your books, because you want to make sure that if they're surprised, it's toward the positive rather than being disappointed in what they get. The next one, we had a 1901 copy of Science of Sciences. So this one is interesting because I didn't see this book listed much, but what I did see were a lot of reprints of it. So if a book's reprinted 50 years later, then the original's got to be worth something. So, and it was. So I sold the Science of Sciences, a 1901 copy, for $65. I'd had it sit for quite a while, a long tail book. Not a lot of people, wanting it, but I knew that if it got reprinted, it had to have some level of popularity. So in the listing, I put, Science of Sciences, 1901, not a reprint. Or I put original, maybe also. I forget exactly how I worded it, but just so people know this is not, this is the real thing here. And this is awesome. This is one of my favorite books I've sold in a while. I found this at the Goodwill bins on a day when there are a lot of other booksellers there and things were really picked over and I was not having much luck at all. And so I started digging, going low, and I find that some of the booksellers that I run into at this particular Goodwill bins, I've even heard her say, because she comes in with a partner and they both, they team up. And then she was there with somebody yesterday or over the weekend. I heard her saying like solo los grandes, like only the big ones. Like she got there, like which ones do you just get the big ones? So they're just grabbing big books, right? Well, this book was, I wish I had an example of something about the size. It was probably about 6 to 8 inches tall, 4 or 5 inches across, maybe 20 pages. But the subject matter, if you see it, you would know. You got to look this up, even though it's tiny. It was called The Soul in Egyptian Metaphysics. It's 1965 by Manly P. Hall. And it sold for $75. So I was pretty happy about that. I remember just picking that up and, it looked interesting. So I was like, yeah, The Soul in Egyptian Metaphysics. Heck yeah, you're going to look that one up. And it also was underlined, not extensively, but it did have some underlining in it. Again, very nicely. I don't know what's up with people and their underlining. I must have missed that class in college because I never, it was just like it had a ruler or something. It looked really nice. But it wasn't a lot of underlining, and it was in good shape other than that. I had it up for $100 for quite a while, sent out an offer at $75, and the buyer, their eBay name was something with what's the secret society group? You know what I'm talking about, the one that everyone always thinks everything is based on them, but that was in their eBay title name. The I'm going to think of it. Masons. So this is, I said, like Masonic 0412 or something like that. So that is interesting. I think that's what it was. Anyhow, maybe not. Maybe I just lied. I don't think I did, though. Hope I didn't. Anyhow, so that was all my books. So that was a total of 38 books, $820.65. And these are all the books that I sold between October 18th and October 31st. So that's like my time period. I cut it off there. I didn't want, I am saying everything that I've sold, but that was a time period. So my next video, I'm going to do like November 1st through whatever time frame. But this was, so that was 18th through the 31st. That's about 13 days worth of books, about 2 weeks basically worth of books. It came out to a $21.60 average, which is below my completely arbitrary and random number of $25, where I consider to be like, that was a good week of high dollar sales if I have a $25 average. But as you heard, a lot of $10 and $12 sales this week in particular, and I didn't have any big $200 sales to kind of balance it out. So it was a lot of sales, which is nice. Getting space off the shelves and room for new stuff, which is always nice. I also had 5. Oh, I didn't add that one in. Okay. Well, my math has it with 4, so I'm going to stick with that. I sold a CD for $9, which isn't counted in either the books or the not a books. I just forgot it to put it right there. And so, here, I'll put it up here, though. The Mary Foundation CD for $9. So my Nada books, I sold 3 DVD sets from the Great Portuguese DVD Haul of 2022. It's still paying off. I've got a lot of them not listed, so lax. I'm selling almost everything I list. It sells. You had a lot of good stuff. So I sold the Voyagers DVD set for $11. I sold the Miami Vice set for $30. And the big sale was the Star Trek set, which sold for $100. Whew. Pretty happy about that one. And then my other Nada book sale was these headphones, which sold for $19. This is one, I've talked about this before, that if I'm sourcing things, if I'm paying up for something, I need to know it's either going to be, it could be long-term, but it's going to sell for a lot, or I can flip it in a week and double or triple my money. And that was the case here. I saw this. I got this at the bin drop, I think on a Sunday. And so I would have paid $8 for this. Lots of listeds, but a lot of solds. And so I knew if I put this up at auction, it would probably sell by the end of the week, and it did. I put it up at $19, got one bid, and that's what it sold for. So $19, but it flipped it in a week, which I was figure I would do. So not huge profit there, but that was the plan. So my Nada books ended up being $160 on 4, which I had a goal of making a nice round, even $40 profit or average on my Nada books, and I was able to do that. So I was really happy. Sold 4 books, $160, so $40 average, which is right exactly on the nose what I was hoping to get for my Nada book average. So worked out great. Yeah, so I think that's about it for now. I'm gonna try to, get some videos out there a little more regularly. Hopefully I'd like to do weekly. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But anyhow, I hope you guys are selling stuff like crazy, and things are going well, and we'll see you, I hope to see you sooner rather than later. Adios.